Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Trials of Mana. I'm the Mysterious JG. We have hit upon a brilliant plan to actually listen to what the plot told us in this video and attempt to find... See, the map doesn't function normally here. Here it functions normally. Here's a screen we haven't found yet that looks pretty normal. But here we've got weird inky darkness. And what? I didn't advance a screen there. Whatever. Alright. So, are these the red glowing flowers here? Those are definitely not red glowing flowers. These seem to be red glowing flowers. But apparently they're not, because that didn't work right. Let's try going here again. Red flowers. So you can't always tell when you're about to be vaulted off the screen. So there's red flowers mixed in there. There's red flowers over this way, I guess. Now we come to this screen. We keep coming here and not... Is there red flowers mixed in over here? I guess there kind of are, but then... It doesn't like that. So there's also these tall little things with lamp lights hanging off them. I mean, it's a maze, but it was a lot clearer in the last game. Here I have questions about, okay, I can't tell when I'm going to advance further into this map and when I'm hitting the edge of a map screen. Which means I'm still looking for red flowers, and the game's like, oh, you went the wrong way, restart. And I'm like, wait a second, no, I was still looking for where the red flowers are. So from here I tried going back to where I came. That was definitely something you had to do once in the old one. You would pop up, and the path that you just come from is lit as the correct way to go. And despite what common sense would tell you, you have to do that. Go back. But here, it doesn't matter what the fuck I do. It's always wrong. Here, there's no place for me to go here. This is where the red flowers are, but there's nowhere for me to go. I've got to go this way, which has consistently been wrong. This way, which has consistently been wrong, even though there are some red flowers in that direction. And then this way, where again, I think I see red flowers, but I come here, and it keeps telling me this is wrong. And there's like leaves moving up there, and I'm like, is that an indication of something? I am not sure how to solve this. I figured this out in the old version. It's just in this one, the fancy graphics and just the cooler perspectives, which I generally like, are actually making it a lot harder to figure out what they want you to do. Well, at least this is a new screen with new enemies. Which is an indication I'll probably want to avoid fighting these enemies just so that they'll show up in future to indicate that I haven't been here before. Or that I have been here before.
You must have taken out all the enemies nearby.
See, I don't see red flowers over there. Here they're kind of on a corner, so they're bleeding off in both directions, but... That's too good to be true. Oh, you know what it is? It's daytime, isn't it? Yeah. Supposed to be doing this at night. Okay. So the little flowers that I thought were actually telling us what was going on are just part of the background and were never meant to be an indication of where to go. And this makes a whole lot more sense now that I think of it that way. Triple hit with the magic. Nice. Ow. A little healing light might be in order here. Okay, but it's these huge, unmissable flowers are the ones that are supposed to be your indication. And like right from jump, we went back the way we came to be the correct path. So, okay. Whiny JG, this is actually not that challenging at all. You just have to be paying attention to the fact that this only helps you during the night. Now there's a little cactus. And that was the other thing I was worried about, making sure I found a little cactus before we got out of the zone. So we are well on our way to 20% discounted shops and free stays to the end, neither of which I care about. But you got to get them as a prerequisite for things that are probably more interesting. Shrink. Okay. Medical herb or twinkle rain spell. Oh, we don't get to use the Cocoporo hammer. That's a plot item. Shrinkage. This is something that Duran and Angela will learn about on their honeymoon when they spend some time in a cold pool. When Duran is embarrassed that despite being the world's greatest swordsman, he may not be able to maintain the world's greatest sword. Flowerberg Dior. I feel like Dior is like a jewelry or fragrance brand, like one of those ones that would advertise in airports where it's like a big banner ad of some really famous actress and it just says Dior and you're like, I don't even know if she's wearing Dior. I don't even know what Dior is. But I guess if you want to be like famous actress lady, you better find out. Gold item seed. Nice. Oh, what's this? There are headstones here. Want to read them? No? Okay. They're the grave of Carl and Super Carl. Oh, and Carl Jr. Carl's little puppy that was also destroyed by Kevin. Inadvertently. Paying 240 lucre. Oh, come on, say something. Or I can't have a conversation with these people. Oh, man, it's a whole town of Galgo 13. So, I'm never going to stop comparing this to the original game. In the original game, the sprites would actually run away from you. It's kind of hilarious. Instead, like, in this, I don't think that would work in this game. They don't really animate sprites the same way. Pretty much, townspeople are just kind of hanging out. But the sprites in the old game would just, like, literally slowly walk away from you, and if you tried to pursue them, they would, like, run away from you as fast as they could. And if you cornered them, they would say ... But, man, I would love a PS4 grade remake using the Unreal action of Galgo 13 Top Secret episode. That would be the fucking shit right there. As much as I'm loving this game, I'm like, wait a minute, I could be playing a fucking PS4 remake of Top Secret episode? Sorry, Angela, you gotta move the fuck over. Hawkeye, you're a ladies' man, but you've got nothing on Duke Togo. I'd even do the fucking Fangbacks building again just to get, like, that whole experience. Although, actually, the Fangbacks building would have, like, little gold icons telling you exactly where to go and would not really be the same challenge at all. I gotta climb this ladder to keep up with Lethal and Grimmeth. I'm gonna get killed by the Horde. Ah! I don't know what I'm doing, and they won't tell me. They just keep telling me I'm doing it wrong. Sorry. Fun thing is, Lethal will eventually see this. Grimmeth, no fucking chance. But Lethal may eventually see this and at least get a tickle out of it. He's like, I know I'm supposed to be doing better. I don't know how. Dot, dot, dot. You know what, lady? You can talk to me. We have the same ears. Oh, even the fucking merchants won't talk to us. Oh, my money's not good enough for you? We got like some kind of euro bullshit over here? These Canadian dollars? Fuck you. I am American. That's right, Altena is part of America. They're willing to sacrifice Angela's life to get back to full employment. Altena open for business. It's almost not worth talking to all the individual people who all just say ... Go figure. Although again, I don't want to like beat this to death, but the towns have pretty consistently also had a little cactus in them. So it's it feels like it's worth poking around. Will you talk to me, man in the green hood? You do have a very wooden expression. Are you sure you're not Larry Zabisco? Cigar Store Indian is Arn Anderson's nickname for Larry Zabisco. You're expected to know this. Come on, guys. How can you enjoy one of my Let's Plays if you're not familiar with Arn Anderson's nickname for Larry Zabisco? This is basic knowledge you guys should have. Apparently, he called him Cigar Store Indian because when they were a tag team, Arn's contention was that Larry would stand there on the apron and fucking do nothing, and Arn had to do all the work. I'm thinking the inn. They might be willing to talk to us at the inn. But I already went in there, didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't. And they won't talk to us at the end, which means there's either a gold statue here or the game is being kind of ruthless. I mean, I can't say that they're not making it clear that they want you to leave. I will hold that gold item seed in reserve to try to get the best possible gold items out of it. As we're just creeping closer. Once we get that thing up to level 5, I can just dump seeds in it like a crazy son bitch. We may not be able to find Carly just kind of hanging around. Yeah, I mean... So... I'm not intimately familiar with the backstory of this place to know whether humans did something terrible to the elves that is warranting this response. But, you guys are familiar with the term prejudice, right? The root term being pre, meaning before, and Judas, form of judge. Not Judas like, you know, what have I become? What have I betrayed? But Judas just in the sense of, yeah, just judging things. So the whole idea of prejudice, as I'm explaining to you as though you didn't know, is that you're making judgments, typically it's the way it's used now, about groups of people, be they an ethnic group, a racial group, a gender, whatever, without actually getting information about the individual members of that group. You just sort of assume things about them based on whatever. So broadly speaking, this can include the, quote, positive stereotypes, like, oh, Asian people are good at math, black people have rhythm. Those are, I mean, generally those would be positive stereotypes. Jewish people are good with money. That one can be twisted around in different directions, of course. But, like, generally thinking people are good at math or, you know, are good dancers is not a bad thing, I guess. But, yeah, it is a stereotype. It's not based on judgments you're making about individual people. I don't know why this is turning into an after-school special other than the fact that these elves are seriously fucking prejudiced. This is like Square Enix levels of humans are bad. And I guess it is a Square game. But they should take a lesson from the little cactus who is perfectly willing to talk to us very briefly before disappearing. Buy me 2 more times for a prize. See, here's Carly. I was not even sure we'd find her here because she will definitely be triggered she'll be triggered. Need a trigger warning. She's so worried about people's prejudice. But, how rude. Who could ignore me of all people? That's why. They will get what's coming to them eventually. I will punish the elven race. I cannot believe the mentality of the elven race. What? But, yeah, it's just like, so we'll probably, like, the elves are usually presented in these fantasy games as being these beautiful, wonderful creatures. In this game, they're straight up assholes. Well, let me tell you. Hopefully the elder will have a little bit, if nothing else, the elder will probably be portrayed as, like, knowing that Fairy is sided with us, that it's important to help us, whatever his or her personal feelings are. I don't remember this section of the game in detail, but I mean that's what would make sense, and I feel like that's where the story is going. But the rest of these guys, fuck them. I think maybe they talk to us after the elder decides we're okay, but I don't even know if I care what these jerks have to say. Although I need to talk to all of them in case they give me link abilities.
Is that really you?
You're so much shorter than I remember. How could you ever defeat Sasha Banks?
You do not remember. You were very young when you were taken to Wendell.
And I've done new things with my facial
I
hair.
should not be surprised.
I am not surprised.
Oh, are you the elfin elder?
How did you get here? I hope that nothing dire has happened to His Eminence, the Priest of Light. In truth, I cannot imagine he would allow you to travel this far without reason.
We had an agreement. Anybody who wanted to get to the Elven lands, he's responsible for making sure he takes him out before I have to. I'm here to interrupt, Charlotte.
Please, we need your
So she
help.
just appeared from the air between Angela and Durant. She's no longer like flying out of Angela.
Chosen by Fairy herself.
I'm actually Fairy.
When the Priest of Light put up a barrier to protect Holy City Wendell, he used forbidden magic.
Forbidden Machina?
Came with a terrible curse.
The C word.
He has fallen to an incurable illness.
Big deal if you're in America. Not as big a deal in the UK.
I did not think I would ever hear tell of the Priest of Light again.
I certainly hoped I wouldn't.
It must be Laran and Shayla's will from the world beyond.
You want to unpack that for us?
Papa and Mama?
Oh.
Yes,
Well, Papa, I don't know who Papa is. I mean, I know who Papa is. My niece refers to my father exclusively as Papa. Her paternal grandfather, I believe, is actually Grandpa, and then his name, but she only got one Papa. And I love it when they call me Big Papa. Mama, we know, clearly Carly is referring to that woman with the glasses who gives you hermetic grenades.
my child. Dividing their families caused Laran and Shayla much pain.
They were divided into three.
Humans and elves are forbidden to marry.
Like first
His
cousins.
Eminence and I were against the union, afraid that it would shorten their lifespans.
Eh.
But their love was more important to them than our laws.
You hearing that, conservative
Shayla
majority?
left Dior and eloped with Laran. Once I saw their happiness, I reluctantly relented.
Very briefly. Then I started voting for
After
marriage
a time,
protection laws.
They had you, Charlotte.
Proof that it was a terrible
So they
mistake.
departed this world thereafter. Your parents did not regret their decision.
Though we all did, as
To
I mentioned, when you were
assuage his
born.
guilty conscience for abandoning his son, His Eminence swore to raise you, his granddaughter, in Laran's place.
But I can see he's not doing a very good job.
That is when you left Dior for the Temple of Light.
We
And
swore an oath
to
in the
avoid
Peach Garden.
future tragedy, I sealed Dior away from humans. We two agreed that only elves were to know where to find this settlement.
That's why all the surrounding road signs are only in Welsh.
Papa? Mama?
Yeah, they're dead. I guess she had this Rey from Star Wars thing where she thought she was going to find them. Yeah, that's...
Leave her be.
Oh, that's nice. So,
Regarding
I would go so far as to assume they probably recorded a different uncomfortable sound for each of the protagonists, other than Charlotte, of course. And I kind of do wonder, again, it's not worth playing the game 6 times over to see every main character variation. And I don't know how many times over. I mean, I could do the math. I just don't feel like it. Of which, how many variations there are of different characters in different slots. But I find myself already wondering, hey, what happens if Charlotte's your main character and she just runs off? Does your secondary character continue the conversation, or does Charlotte not run off if she's the main character?
The issue of His Eminence's illness. I'm afraid there is nothing I can do with the mana of the world so depleted.
You see, I'm out of network.
In the end, sounds like our only hope is to get the Sword of Mana. And ask the Goddess of Mana.
Literally everything, even fucking Kevin's dog. The answer is always the Goddess of Mana. Why are we surprised by this? Like, let's pretend for a second we don't know. Never mind. I was going to say whose backstory is Cecilius. It's Kevin's. Kevin's dog is dead, and he wants to know if someone can bring his dog back to life. It is easily the silliest of the stories, and the answer in that one is, let's go find the Goddess of Mana.
To heal him.
Sir, Barry is helping us to find the elemental so that we can open the portal to the Sanctuary of Mana.
She's actually showing him more respect than she showed to the King of Valsena. Maybe she's getting used to old men.
There is a Mana statue in the northwest of Lamploom Woods.
Or, as a surly teenager, she doesn't instinctively know this guy is her father, therefore she's not rebelling against him.
If you borrow Luna's moon powers at night, the Lamplooms should let you through.
If they feel like it. I'm back. Did I miss anything?
Charlotte!
I know. Grandpa and Heath would laugh at how dumb I'm.
Well, that's not what I was going to say, but you're probably right.
Get that Mana sword so I can save
Especially
Heath
since
and
Heath is now
Grandpa.
apparently called the
Until
Tainted
then,
Mage.
I won't cry anymore. I won't.
And then she starts
I'm doing
crying
fine.
in
Really.
intense passion about her
Now
own
let's
promise
go
not to
find
cry.
the vast elemental. Thanks for everything, Mr. Elder.
Misuto
You
Elda.
have grown so much, Charlotte. Best of luck.
And sorry everyone in my village are such flaming assholes. So I mentioned that Mana Stone, and I was correct. I'm fucking Sherlock Holmes over here deducing this shit. But yeah, we go there after we talk to the right plot folks. Oh, the Elven Leader's wishes have granted us a new ability. Get the fuck out of my town. It's called Lesson Counters. Huh. That is potentially not the worst thing to be using on screen when we're just trying to advance through story. I'm pretty sure there's the opposite, more encounters ability exists, which would be great for off-screening. Now I'm wondering if anyone will talk to us. Only elves live in the Ur. We live apart from humans where it's more peaceful. Yeah, the elder told us we have to talk to you. We don't have to say anything that isn't a name, though. The north of Lamploom Woods is a vast primeval forest called the Woods of Wandara. The Woodstone should be near the border between them. Oh man, what the fuck was I thinking? How could I not have done my terrible, terrible Charles Nelson Riley voice for the High Priest of the Fairies? Oh man, what a terrible failure that was. Ugh. If I hadn't identified it, a decent chunk of you guys wouldn't even know what I was doing. I mean, the idea that he was a fairy would have come across in an impression of Charles Nelson Riley. Don't get me wrong. Elves lived much longer than humans. In order for Sheila to marry Laren, she had to use secret magic to turn her into a human. Unfortunately, that magic not only shortens an elf's lifespan, but also shortens their chosen partners. It's quite tragic. Suddenly my eyes peeled for these elves that I really should not care about talking to them at all, but we've met a bunch of people out in the world. Dwarves, beastmen, catfolk, elves. Yeah, little moments like that. I like those tiny little moments where it feels like the party is actually coming together as friends. mean, that's half the appeal of, like, fucking... it's a long book. It's got a lot of fun adventure sequences, but that's, like... That's pretty much the point of Fellowship of the Rings, right? Like, little tiny moments between, what's their name, Gimli and Legolas. That's kind of like, you know, you're a fucking nerd, and, you know, I read those books later in life, but if you're a nerd in junior high school or middle school, and you're reading about these lifelong, powerful friendships forming, it's nice. The two small graves near the entrance of this village of two lovers who lost their lives, the supposed Laird and Shira, together in the beyond. I wonder what they're doing now. Is he touching her in an icky lady place? ... Yeah, I'm still an asshole. ... I just know that some of these guys are clinging hard to their dickish beliefs. Humans are scum, and nothing the Elder says is going to change it. Oh, I hate humans.
Welcome.
I guess.
Take a look.
Come, it's in a book. So I'm not tracking with this either. We've had a couple of towns now where there's 2 sets of equipment for available, both of which are better than anything you could have up to this point. But one of them is a little better, and one of them is significantly better. And consistently, the prices are not that different. Like, why would you pay 48 grand, or sorry, 4,800 for something when you could pay 5,300 for something that's like way better? I guess the difference is pretty significant here. You can spend 4,800 giving Charlotte +1 to both of her stats, or a little bit more to get +3 and +4. It's stupid.
Always good to have a spare.
Mm-hmm.
Looks good.
Of course, it's defective. I would never sell good equipment to humans. Rigid cane. Well, watch out, Duran. You might be in for a caning.
Come again.
Mm-hmm. Ugh, I hate humans. That's right. I don't talk like that. Don't let JG fill you with a bunch of nonsense stereotypes about elves. Talk about prejudice, and then he gives us all Paul Linda voices. Get the fuck out.
Welcome.
I'm a bear.
Come, take a look.
And, it's slightly different. Here we can get something that's worse or something that's better.
Always good to have a spare.
This is good quality.
And he's got a better helmet. And who knows how awesome the shields would be here if shield technology was made available to us.
I love shopping.
Oh, she can dress up like Owlman from The Watchmen. She has already got that because we got it in a treasure chest.
Ooh, exciting.
And the other thing is, we got a decent chunk of game after we've gone to the vast majority of locations, going back to new dungeons buried in old locations fighting god beasts. I don't think I'm trying to hide the fact that eventually these god beasts they talk about, we will be fighting. And when we get to that point, like, we stop finding new stores with new armor, so even if it feels like I'm going through a lot of money, eventually the best armors and stuff start becoming available through not treasure chests necessarily, but seeds, I guess. But we will eventually hit a point where we're out of new armors to buy, and it's coming sooner than the story might otherwise suggest. We got a lot of story left, but not that much just going to brand new continents we've never been to before with the store. And I don't think this is a game where they do a great job of having the stores restock. See, and the moon ring just gives you better stats, but it doesn't give you any immunities. Shields are, again, completely beyond the knowledge and understanding of our party. Their minds are just blown by the idea that you hold a piece of wood or metal up in front of you to absorb blows from enemies. This is well outside of what they could possibly comprehend. We will continue with this party that's not really that good with figuring out shields in the next video, where we will be heading for that mana statue to open our way into the dungeon where we will be getting Dryad, the wood spirit. There is a second currently inaccessible forest where the actual Mana Stone of Wood is located. We need to get further in the plot before we get there. And that forest, the second forest that's up at this part of the world, but not currently accessible in the story, that's where, when I finally get to where I can access that, and pull this thing offline, watch some other people's Let's Plays, watch a little bit of riff tracks, and grind up so that we can have our final exciting class transformations. I'm the Serious JG. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. And remember, I hate humans.